This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus and Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 7. So, major plot point happened in the storyline. Something that's going to make the last 3 episodes pretty interesting. Actually, there were 2 major things. And then, actually, when I think about it, maybe 3. Yeah, 3. Damn. They've actually put some big moments in this show. I know a lot of people have been saying how slow it's been. I tend to ignore that because I really believe that most people who make that complaint about stuff being slow, they don't like to watch stories play out. They don't want to see dialogue, interaction. They just want some type of action, something crazy to happen. If it doesn't, then clearly it's boring. And I've never been that type of person because I know that a story needs to develop. It needs to be set up. It needs to, you need the lull before you get to the highs. If everything's just high, eventually you're going to get bored with the highs because you're going to be expecting them to try to top everything over and over again, and you can't really do that. But this episode right here, it definitely hit the mark, especially for me. This was actually one of my favorite episodes of this season. So where do I begin? So let's begin with the issue of Jaime Lannister and Bronn. Now, of course, if you saw the last episode, they were going after Jaime's niece, Marcella. Plan kind of failed because the Prince of Dorne kind of sniffed that whole situation out, caught the Sand Snakes, caught Jaime and Bronn. So now everybody's in prison. Jaime, of course, being a noble, he's kept in much nicer quarters. He was allowed to see his niece, who he finds out is truly in love with her betrothed. That throws a monkey wrench in his plans to bring her back because he's trying to make amends with his sister because of what Tyrion did to their father. I don't think that's going to happen right there. Meanwhile, Bronn's chilling in the dungeons with the Sand Snakes, and he's, flirting back and forth with one of them who tries to get naked for him. I mean, we should all expect to see a titty here or there on Game of Thrones. It's like if you don't see any naked ass, then it's an off night for them. So she's flirting with him, talking about who's the most beautiful woman he's ever seen and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, Bronn starts to get sick. And then she reveals that when she hit him with her knife, she put some type of slow poison on it that finally started to react. So she made him tell her that she's the most beautiful woman he's ever seen in the world. And then gives him the antidote, which is an interesting way of flirting with someone. Very interesting way of flirting with someone. But thankfully for Bronn, she finds him amusing. She finds him attractive. So she didn't let him just sit there and die. She let Bronn be spared, which is good for us because Bronn is awesome. Switching over to Jon Snow. So Jon's going out now to try to convince the wild people. What do they call them? I forget exactly what they call the wildlings or whatever. He's going to the free people, basically, because that's what they see themselves as. He's going to convince them that they're trying to make a truce. They're going to let them live peacefully, and then when the time comes, when the White Walkers march, they can help defend the kingdom. So he's going there with one of their leaders, and of course, Sam's in a predicament because while Jon's gone, Master Aemon dies. So Sir Alistair pointedly tells him, after he pointedly tells Jon before he leaves that he thinks he's a fool for what he's doing, that now you don't really have any friends. And of course, a couple of the Night's Watchmen try to test that theory when they try to go after Gilly. So Sam decides, he's going to defend his girl, because he's got a thing for Gilly. he gets his ass whipped for a while, but he's still fighting. And then Ghost appears. We haven't seen Ghost in a while, and I would have thought Ghost would have went with John, but luckily for Sam, John was smart enough to leave Ghost back there to help him out and give his boy some backup. But Sam was going to throw down. He wasn't backing down because he got up and he was like, yo, I've killed a White Walker. I've killed the Finn. I'll take my chances with you. I love that line. You know, and then Ghost shows up to save his ass from probably a big ass whipping. But, you know, of course, Gilly was happy. She took care of him, cleaning him up. And then, you know, things happen, of course. Gilly gets on top of him, kisses him. And then she just decides, you know what? Let me whip your thing out and stick this in me. And Sam has made one of the biggest mistakes of his life. He's had pussy. God damn it, Sam. You have just walked into the mad world of sex. It's going to be probably scarier and probably more dangerous than anything you've ever done. That White Walker? Nah, pussy is probably more dangerous. Seriously, Sam. What are you doing? But no, it was interesting moment, nonetheless. So Sam, you know, he's officially tied to Gilly. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go. We're gonna see if it comes out and they try to use that to leverage against Sam, because technically speaking, they're supposed to give up the flesh. So if they get caught fornicating, they could technically get in trouble. So we'll see if Alistair, you know, holds a grudge and tries to flex on Sam while John is gone. I'm thinking not, though. I don't think Alistair is gonna go that far, but we shall see. We shall see. Now, moving on to Tyrion and Ser Jorah. So they were sold into slavery. Tyrion convinced the slave master to buy him so they can go to the fighting pits. And of course, by chance, they happen to run into Daenerys. But before they run into Daenerys, she has a little interlude with her lover, who he's basically telling her, look, you know, I wanted you, but I know you can't do that, but it's all good. I'm just going to give you one last piece of advice. What you need to do is, once you open the fighting pits, invite all the masters and kill them all. You'll be better off with them all dead. To which she says, I'm a queen, I can't do that. To which he responds, you're either a butcher or you're butchered. You know, no, you're either butcher or meat. You can't, you know, be anything else when you rule. Which kind of makes sense, because at the end of the day, sometimes when you're ruling, you have to make that really hard choice to take out your enemies before they take you out, because those people are trying to kill her. They've killed off Sir Barristan. They almost killed off Grey Worm. They've been slaughtering her Unsullied, you know, secretly. So they're not playing fair. They're not being nice. She's trying to be diplomatic, noble, righteous, and all this, and they're just coming at her, you know, with brutal, vicious, unfair tactics. So, you know, it might be a day where she needs to push back really hard. Really, really hard. But, so, after that interlude, we go back to Tyrion and Jorah. They're in a fighting pit, and they have a chance to win the opportunity to go to Meereen to fight in front of Daenerys. Luckily for them, of course, Daenerys is actually at the fighting pit being there, because her husband-to-be is telling her this is something that she should do to build bridges, connect with these people, blah, 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 blah. Of course, she's not really feeling it, seeing people getting slaughtered. Once, you know, Jorah finds out she's there, he goes out, he takes out everybody, you know, rough but not deadly, and then reveals himself. She gets upset, but Tyrion comes out and reveals himself and like, look, he has a present for you, and it's me. I'm Tyrion Lannister. So that puts some cards on the table to play for that situation. See how that goes. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, because, you know, as far as she's concerned, Lannisters took her family or helped take her family. So it could go really, really bad, or it could go really, really well for Tyrion. But we'll see if Daenerys keeps her composure and stays with her righteous queen act right there. So last good huge plot piece, which, goddamn, I was waiting for this moment, and I'm glad it happened. Sadly, it wasn't the way that I envisioned it. Of course, I've read the books, and it was a lot more elaborate. It was a lot more dramatic. It was a lot more satisfying to see this happen. But, hey, I got something out of it, so that's good, I guess. So, of course, we know about Cersei playing all her games and things like that. She got Loras and Marjorie locked up by the Seven. You know, they're going around dispensing religious justice and things like that. Harsh as hell religious justice at that. And so Cersei played the card so they can both get caught up in it. Now, she's sitting over there, you know, smiling and everything. Meanwhile, the Queen of Thorns is trying to work out something. She goes to the High Septon, who basically rebuffs the hell out of her and just basically tells her, like, we're just going to break you down because you guys have all the power, but keep in mind that all you rich people, you're fewer than us poor people. One of these days, the many aren't going to be so afraid of the few, which is a pretty chilling thought, and it's something that reigns true throughout all history, because it's like, yo, same thing as now, where we have, say within the United States, you have that 1% that we always talk about. Whatever happens to the day that the 99% decides, you know what, we truly aren't having this with the 1%. You know, that'll be an interesting scenario. And this is what he's talking about to the Queen of Thorns. So Queen of Thorns goes to Littlefinger, and she's trying to get his help, you know, to work out something. Turns out, don't really need Littlefinger to do much, because Cersei, well, you probably need Littlefinger to figure out something as far as the High Septon's concerned, and possibly get Marjorie and them out. Maybe, kinda, I don't know. But after Tommen gives a rant, Cersei pretty much decides to lie to him and say, I'm going to do what I can to help your loving wife, blah, blah, blah. So she goes, she visits Marjorie, basically mocking her, talking about, oh, we've tried this, we've tried that, knowing that everything that they were going to do wasn't going to be possible, because she set everything in play. She knew this guy was going to be unrelenting and take out her problem for her. Well, problem is, because he's so unrelenting and he's so all about taking out that, you know, the few, he pretty much has Cersei. If she were a man, he'd have Cersei by the balls, because Cersei goes to talk to him, talking about, yeah, I saw Marjorie, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about how, you know, basically giving her this whole speech about how everybody will be stripped eventually of all their gold and stuff like that. And then when they're revealed for who they are, what's going to happen then? You know, basically, on the slide, seems like he's threatening Cersei, but he's not threatening Cersei. He's pretty much telling her what it is. Basically, he says, you know, your cousin came to us, you know, a broken man, and he came and he, you know, let loose all your business. So now, let's see what you got to say. So Cersei's like, whatever. So she's walking out, and one of the nuns, I don't know what they call the Seven's female members, but she grabs Cersei, like, drags her off, and Cersei's like, let me go. Nope. Bitch, you going in the cell. And she's like, the last thing you're ever going to see is, look at me, because that's the last thing you're going to ever see alive after I kill you, or something like that. Of course, Cersei throwing her threats, but what you going to do, Cersei? Because I don't think they're scared of you. That's the thing about the Seven. They believe exactly what they're doing is righteous, and they are willing to defend it to the death. So now she's going to have to rely on her son to come at the religious sect with all the might of the kingdom. Problem is, what's going to happen if, well, not if, but when they bring to light that, hey, Lancel was sent with your father, or who you think is your father, Robert Baratheon, drugged him so that he can get killed in a hunting accident. He's already fucked up in the head that his wife is in jail. So that's going to fuck him up in the head. And then when it comes out that she kind of helped manipulated this situation. Like, once he hears that his father's dead because of his mom, he's going to buy into the idea that, hey, she also manipulated the situation so that Marjorie would be in prison. Tom is not going to have that, and he's being a young... See, that's the thing. A young kid in love, especially a young kid in love who's had some ass, yeah, don't think him to, like, side with mom, because mom ain't the most important thing right now. He's got a woman who fucks the shit out of him. He ain't gonna care about you, mom. He's too young to, like, have that type of coldness in him. He's gonna react emotionally, and his emotions are gonna side with Marjorie and pussy. Cersei's fucked. Cersei is fucked, and I hope they do not swerve things so she can get the fuck out of the situation. But we shall see. Anyway, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.